Hey guys, this is Ashley Main here again, and I am coming at you today with a cooking tutorial. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which hopefully you do, if you don't, there's Instagram here. In my stories, I give you guys options for what you might want to see next from my YouTube and things like that. I put a poll out for if you guys wanted to get a new workout video, if you wanted to get a cooking tutorial. You guys did vote for the workout, and that's gonna be up. It's actually already up, so you can go look at that now if you want to, after you watch this. This one is gonna be the cooking tutorial, and I also asked same thing, what do you guys wanna see as far as recipes that I've been putting on there? Well, not the recipes, I've been posting pictures and then saying if you want the recipes. I had a couple of different ones, which I will do all of them because I've gotten a lot of people that after I said what I was gonna do, they're like, I really want these, and I wanna share them with you guys, so I am gonna do them. But for today, we're gonna make a blueberry sweet and savory frittata that's super easy and really good, really tasty, really fills you up. And I'm also gonna do my cashew yogurt curry. And usually I pair that with some rice because since I posted that picture, I actually have to go lower in carbs and I actually have to eat the food I'm showing you guys today. I'm gonna put it on some shirataki noodles. We're gonna get that started. So we're gonna start with the frittata. While that is finishing in the oven, I'm gonna start the curry and we'll go from there. I already have all of my stuff portioned out, that way I don't get distracted and use different amounts and then screw up my macros. Now, as always, like I tell you guys before my previous videos, I am in prep right now. I am currently 3 weeks out from my first show and a total of 7 weeks out from my second show. With everything here, it's really low carb. It is lower as far as fats somewhat. I portion myself out, my stuff out a little differently, so you can always tweak things. You can use more, use less. The fun thing about cooking is it's not an exact science. You can play with some things. So whatever I'm using today, if you want to change it up a little bit, add more, add less, feel free to do so. We're gonna start with the frittata first. Now, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our pan, our cast iron, pretty warm. Now the thing with this too, we're gonna put it on medium low because if you put it too high, you're going to burn the eggs before they are finished. So we're gonna make sure you put it on medium low. I'm gonna use a half of a teaspoon of coconut oil. You can totally use more, especially if you're not using a cast iron that has been seasoned, then it probably would be good to use a little bit more so you don't have it stick. But because my sister gave me a little tutorial on how to properly care for your cast iron, it is perfect now. Well, I won't say perfect, it's a lot better than it was. So we're gonna use, again, half a teaspoon coconut oil. Again, you can totally use more if you want, or you can use butter too if you want, like grass-fed butter, yeah. Coconut gives it a nice little taste though. I count this towards my fats too, so if you are trying to watch your macros and watch some things, it's probably good for you to count-ish how much butter, oil, whatever it is that you're using to grease your pan because you are actually having some of it. And that's also something, if you want to use as well, that I do for my bacon. So for the next dish, I'll get into a little bit more, but I'm actually going to use the reserve bacon fat that I saved from, is that the right term, reserved? I don't know. I think that's right. That's right, yeah. Anyway, I saved up the bacon fat and I'm gonna use it for my next thing, so I'll show you that. Because if you're gonna log those fats, they are your fats, so you can use them. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna take a paper towel and use that to just kind of spread this around. It's already seasoned pretty well, but just so it slides off nicely, we're gonna make sure that it is well grease because you don't want to have it stick in the pan. But I mean, with that being said, actually you could just put a towel down and then eat it out of the cast iron. It could be fine too. We're gonna let that do its thing for a second. Now I'm using a few eggs and a few egg whites. You can use all eggs if you want, or you can use all egg whites. Up to you. I'm gonna use 3 eggs. Okay. And 4 egg whites. Well, 4 tablespoons of egg whites. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, by the way, sorry I didn't preface this, but I already had my oven on. So you can flip this if you want. I don't have as much courage to flip it and then have the blueberries on top and have it work out. So if you want to, if you are Julia Child, I couldn't even say her name, and flip it, then flip it. But I'm not about to flip it. I'm gonna put it in the oven and let it settle and let it finish up. I have my oven on 350 right now. We're gonna let it finish in there. But I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of liquid aminos, and you can use coconut aminos if you want. You can use soy, just like pure soy sauce if you want as well. I would be careful of how much soy sauce you're using and how much soy is in your diet. We won't get into that, but I would just look into that. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna use, just get off. No, I'm making a mess. Okay, it's fine. We're making a mess. It's fine. The maid comes tomorrow. It's fine. We're gonna do cinnamon. We're going to do a teaspoon of that. And again, you can play with this a little bit more. The thing I really like about this is that the liquid aminos gives it like some salt, so like some saltiness. It also has, along with the eggs, a little bit of like an umami, like savory kind of a flavor. And the cinnamon gives it like a little bit of sweetness along with the blueberries. We're going to mix this together until it's mixed pretty well. And then if you want to also, when it's done, it comes out a little bit like a breakfast, like pizza kind of thing. It has a lot of size to it. And sometimes like what I do is I take either some maple syrup if I can actually have it, or I use monk fruit syrup, and I use it like just to dip it. So I can make it even sweeter if I want. It goes really well. Or I can just add like a little bit more salt and pepper to it and make it even more like savory. So you can do a bunch of different things with it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it into the cast iron. Again, it should be on medium low, yeah. And once we pour it, we're gonna let it sit and not bother it for about 2 minutes. You don't want it to get cooked all the way through because you wanna put the blueberries on there and have them actually stick and like be inside, so. And what's nice also is that if you have the blueberries in the oven to finish it, the blueberries, they cook a little bit more and they're a little more sweet and they come out all glazed. It looks really nice. Pour this right in the middle. Make sure everything is covered in the pan. Again, if you don't have a cast iron, this still works with a non-stick if you want. But again, if you're gonna put it in the oven, cast iron would be good. All right, we are gonna have this for 2 minutes. And I already have my blueberries portioned out. Up to you, but I would say like 2.5 or so ounces is probably fine. You can always add more again if you want. If you want to put this like all over the entire pizza, then feel free to do that. Yeah, I put it on the edges, and the reason I do that also is because I kind of like work my way up. I cut it into slices and work my way up. Where I start at the bottom, it's more savory, and then I can work my way up and it gets a little more sweet, so yeah. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit. While that's doing that, I'll talk, I guess, a little more about my prep until that's done. Right now, again, I'm 3 weeks out from my first show, and then another, well, 7 total from the second. I feel pretty good. Here's what I put it. I love all of my food. I work really hard to make everything taste good and look good, but I just want more of it. I just want more of everything. I am having some cravings, but it's not crazy. The way I'm cooking helps me so much with cravings. It's insane. So it's not crazy right now, but it might change as we get closer. Again, I still have another 7 weeks. And my workouts are going really well, but last week they were dragging a little bit. I just was getting even more tired, which is normal. But I decided for this week, well actually part of last week too, my energy is just the best when I first wake up in the morning. It's the best time for me to get something like that in and keep myself more intense. Instead of me working out after I have morning clients later in the day, I wake up real early and knock it out real early. I wake up around 3 or 4 a.m. I know that seems crazy, but I do go to bed really early as well. That way when I first do it, everything is knocked out. I have more intensity. I don't have to worry about people being on machines if it's empty. So my workouts have been a lot better actually. So we're gonna sprinkle these on the side. And as you can see, again, it's not cooked all the way through. Just be, watching it, because if you do cook it all the way through, the blueberries won't sink inside. It'll just kind of sit on top, especially if the whites have like cooked a little bit quicker and everything. And again, I'm using about 2 ounces. You can use as much as you want. This recipe also, because of the cinnamon, I am going to love to make when it gets closer to like the holidays, like Christmas. It just smells like that. It makes me want to like, when I smell it, it makes me want to watch movies like Christmas with the Cranks and like Jingle All the Way and like stuff like that. This gets me in the mood. Which, by the way, Netflix has been putting up like Christmas movies real early. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but I've been looking on Netflix for like new movies recently, and it's a bunch of Christmas stuff. I'm not mad at it. What is your favorite Christmas movie, by the way? I think mine is Christmas with the Cranks and what is it called again? The Santa Claus. That is a great movie. I also really like Jack Frost too, so more than one. We're gonna let this finish for 10 minutes, and by the time it's done, it should look good. And I'll show you how to get it out of the pan too. While that's doing that, we are going to start with our curry. So I already have noodles. Shirataki noodles are made from mushrooms. This is about, I think 6 ounces. 6 or 8, something like that. But I portioned out before I can think off top of my head. But this is a total of about like 6 grams of carbs. And it really fills you up. There's a lot of iron, a lot of fibers. Yeah, if you want to keep it lower carb, then you can do that. And then I have, again, some bacon fat that I have been saving from my last pieces of bacon that I made. I don't know why I didn't do this my last prep, but like I cut bacon because I'm like, oh, well, like the fat's too high. And I was having olive oil instead and stuff like that, which is fine. But if you're logging the bacon that you're cooking with, you're logging all of the fat that it is. And I weigh mine, by the way. I don't just say just bacon. I weigh it and see the fats that are in there, weigh it raw. After it's cooked, all of the excess bacon fat, I either cook something else with it, or I just put it in a little thing there and then make sure that I can, use it later. Because if you're logging it again, you might as well use all of it. I have to hide it when my maid comes though, because I'm like, if she washes it, I'm gonna lose my shit. We're gonna let that hang out for a little bit. I also like pre-weighed out and cut up everything as far as my additions to it. I have some chicken here and I have green onions. Usually I make this, well not usually, but a couple of times I've been making it with ground turkey. I had a picture of it on Instagram with ground turkey. And a few people commented that they were like interested in chicken recipes, like ways to make things different with chicken and stuff like that. So I made chicken today instead. This recipe also you can make right away and have it be good and everything. But I do find that if you make it and you let it like hang out for a little bit, either in the fridge or make it ahead of time, or whatever you want to do, put all of it together and you don't have to weigh it out if you don't want to. If you let it like get into the chicken, it just tastes even better. So we're gonna put the green onions and let them cook for a little bit, and we're gonna just let them cook a little bit so they start to get a little more fragrant. And while that's doing that, I'm gonna wash off my measurements. Now also with the measurements that I'm gonna do, you guys can change them as much as you want. Again, that's one reason I like cooking like so much, is that it's not a science. Baking is a science. That's a little different. You cannot like just on the fly mess with some stuff like that. It'll change it. But cooking, you can change up a little bit. So if you wanna add less or more of certain spices, or you don't like some, you can change a little bit and see how you like it. I will say that the cashew yogurt I think is really good for this recipe. The way that cashew yogurt tastes by itself, it kind of goes really well with like curries. But you can also try with coconut yogurt if you have an issue with cashews. Greek yogurt, I'm sure you could try too, and see how you like it. We are going to do 5 tablespoons of this plain cashew yogurt. Now also once you start, the yogurt's gonna be cooking pretty quickly, so you wanna be quick about this. I'm gonna do about 5 tablespoons. Again, do more or less if you want, especially if you're making it for more people. This is like just for me. Oh, I'm sorry. Turn your heat down too. 2. It already smells really good by itself. 4. 5. Again, make sure your heat is lowered down so it's not battering you in the face. All right, so we're gonna start with 5 spice powder. So I found this actually at the Asian market. I couldn't find it a lot of other places for some reason. I'm sure you can buy it on Amazon if you want. But it's 5 spice powder. It's so great. I actually had this same flavor a number of times in India and I couldn't figure out what the heck it was. It's great. I've even like had it in some desserts before. So we're gonna do about a teaspoon of this. Again, give or take. You're gonna do, get down there. We're gonna do a teaspoon, or actually a little less than a teaspoon, of lemongrass powder. Again, I'm not being exact at all, just about that much. And then curry powder. So we're gonna do a teaspoon of that and do a full teaspoon of this. It gives it a lot of flavor. This is Sprouts. Is it Sprouts? No, I'm sorry. It's his Organics brand. So if you want to get the exact same one, okay. of that. You're gonna do hot madras curry powder. It's like a curry powder, but it's a little bit spicier. I'm not gonna weigh this one. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit in there. If you don't like spicy stuff, maybe don't use that one though. And then coriander, same thing. Coriander has a pretty strong taste, so same thing. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit in there. And garlic powder, I'm going to add an entire teaspoon over that, okay? Salt, we are gonna add just a little bit. Just eyeball that as much as you want. Well, I can't. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do that. Now we're going to mix all of those spices together. I'll show you that actually. You want to mix it together pretty well so that it all gets that nice like yellow kind of orange color. You don't have any clumps. Hang out for a second, let them marry each other. I'm gonna put the chicken in there. If you happen to like either one, have your curry dry out too much, or if you just kind of forget about it and it's, you know, it's a little more dry on the edges or something like that, you can always add broth to it. It also actually fills it out a little bit more. So if you see it and you want to make it either one into like a full like soup kind of thing, or if you want to just make it seem like there's more in there, or if you're reheating it too and you want to make sure it's not drying out, then you can add some broth to it. I usually actually do. Put our chicken in here. This is about 4 ounces of chicken and it has nothing on it, it's just grilled. We're going to mix that together pretty well. Ooh, I forgot to add turmeric. I was like, why is the color different? Ah, fuck. Where's my turmeric? Where the hell is my turmeric? Oh, it was hiding. Anyway, I'm still gonna add it. I'm not gonna eat it right now anyway, so that's okay. I'm so sorry. That's something also, it does actually add some more flavor to it. Add a teaspoon of that. And because of that add in too, I'm gonna add a little more broth. Okay. All right. Mix this up and then take the frittata out. When I'm done with this stuff and I'm done making everything, I legit lick this pot. It is so, so, so good. I love these kind of flavors. Right now with competing and everything, if I logged it, I'm eating all of it. I'm eating everything. Like, yeah, taking all of the yogurt out of the pot. So I'm gonna put that here just for a second because we're gonna take our frittata out. Okay. Here is what you want to do with your frittata with taking it out. Actually, I put it over here. So, what I do is I get a very, very big plate because it's a big size, obviously. If you have a smaller cast iron and you want to make it thicker too, you totally can. I actually like when it's wider out, so I like it this way. Give it a second for the edges to lift a little bit. If you want, you can kind of trace the outside. Make sure nothing is sticking. Just give it a little bit longer for it to chill out. We'll go ahead and take this off. All right, so again, these are the shirataki noodles. Very, very low carb. If you want to, again, add more broth. I actually have done this before. It tastes really good to make it into like a liquid, kind of soupy kind of curry, I guess. Yeah, right now I'm just going to put it on top because I'm going to eat it later that way. We're going to pour this on top. And no, I'm not going to lick this pot on camera, but I will do it later. So, pour that on top. Make sure we get as much of that sauce as possible. And then also if you want, you can just make the curry sauce and save it for later. I actually made a bunch of it and I put it in the fridge for my boyfriend so that he can put it on beef if he wants to. There's some chicken in there too, so you can kind of mix it up. It is nicer, you know, if you let it sit in the fridge a little bit or, you know, whatever, while it's marinating in the sauce. But if you don't want to, you know, have the same thing every day, you don't want it to go bad or whatever it is to go bad if you don't want to eat it, then, so yeah. But this one is. You can put some cilantro if you want on there, parsley, whatever you want to, but it has a lot of flavor. Cashew yogurt is really low as far as fats, low as far as carbs. This is, again, just spices that are, you know, in here as well. And yeah, it has a lot of flavor. You can do it with whatever you want. You can do it with turkey, you can do it with beef, you can do it with chicken, whatever protein you want. If you are, you know, vegan, you can try it with different like tofu and stuff like that too. Or just veggies too. That's this one. That is my cashew curry. Oh, let's get this out of the pan. It better not stick to it on camera because I'm gonna be real mad if it does.
No pressure.
I know, right? I'm like, don't you do this to me. Don't you do it to me. I don't know if you guys ever saw a movie called Julia and Julia. That's why I was bringing up Julia Child earlier. In the movie, she's like trying to make all these recipes like Julia Child, this other Julie. And in one of the little videos of Julia Child, she like is trying to flip frittata. And I think it was a frittata. Yeah, she wasn't able to flip it like on camera. She's like, well, no, it didn't work. I hope this isn't one of those. I'm like, no, didn't work. Come on. I think it should be fine. If you don't care, again, you can just eat it right out of the cast iron. If you want it to look nice though, which usually I try to do, just this little side right here that's acting all stank. If I get it out. All right, so I'm gonna do that and slide it, slide. Yay! I was like, please don't break. And it's not quite perfect, this little side here. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So usually, again, I cut this into little pieces and I make like a little like meal out of it. Again, you can put a little more salt and pepper on it if you want. There's a bunch of different things you can do. I sometimes have it again with like either syrup or monk fruit syrup. And usually I also, with this meal that I have my piece of bacon. I put it right in the middle and I just eat a little bit, have a little bit of bacon. It's sweet, savory. It does not take long. Obviously, I can make a whole other thing while I was making this. And it tastes really good. Helps some of the sweet cravings you might have. Again, I think it's also really good for like holidays too because of the cinnamon. If you want to even make like even more of it, make it a little bit thicker for like, you know, a group that you have come over for brunch or breakfast or whatever, or like making it for your family. It's great. This is my blueberry frittata that I have, sweet and savory, really easy, good as far as macros, healthy as well. Yeah, so hopefully those things helped you guys out. I hope you like them. If you try them, please let me know. If you have any questions about anything, leave questions and comments below. If you have not been following me already on Instagram, please feel free to go do that. If you have not been subscribed to my YouTube, please feel free to also do that and give us a thumbs up and share it with friends, okay? Other than that, I will see you guys next week with my next video, okay? So train hard and be well. Thank you for watching. Bye.